The Chicago Bears take on the Green Bay Packers in Week 13. So let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Style back at it with another video talking, of course, NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears season-long Bears coverage right here on the channel. Stay locked here. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, let's get into it, people. So, as we are getting later and later into the season and almost to the end of it, these game previews really are getting difficult to make, obviously, because the incentive to win has just been compromised, right? We know the Bears are not making the playoffs. We know they're a 3-win team at this point. We know that what is more important is that number 2 seed that we can potentially get for next year's draft. And so are these wins really that important? You know, you could argue that, but I got to tell you, folks, this week feels different. This week always feels different because we're playing the Green Bay Packers, and it also feels different for another reason, okay? Not only are we just playing the Packers, who are obviously our oldest rivals and our biggest rivals, but also we're playing the Packers at a point where, you know, their season is hanging in the balance. It's hanging on by a thread. And mathematically, they're still alive. But a win here against the Packers, even though it's going to be very tough, would really kill their chances to make the playoffs. And what is better than ruining the Packers' chance for making the playoffs? So I just want to, preface my analysis by saying that. That, again, feels different this week because you get to ruin the Packers' playoff chances. They already had a very bad record, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But, boy, you would love to put a dent in that, wouldn't you? But with that being said, it's still probably more important for us to get that number 2 seed and lose out for the rest of the season. Even still, for you guys, I'm going to hit these game previews, and they will continue till the end of the season, till the very last game. All right, so with that being said, taking a look at this game, the Packers are favored over the Bears in this one. Duh, expected that. But the line's not as high as I thought. Thought this line was going to open up at like 7, at least a touchdown, maybe a little bit more, 7.5, maybe 8, 4.5. That's the line, 4.5 in favor of the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers are on the road. This is taking place in Soldier Field and Chicago. So I'm a little surprised that this line is so low. The over-under is 43, which is, okay. And it really depends, right? Who's going to play this week with Justin Fields. And we do know Aaron Rodgers is going to play this week for the Packers. He did confirm that, and I'll get into that shortly. But yeah, over-under is about 43. I'm mad about it. We'll see. So let's take a look at a couple of injuries for this game, and then we will get into the analysis. All right, so the most important news, obviously, is the quarterback situation, really for both teams. All right, so for the Packers, we know Aaron Rodgers is going to play. He was dealing with a thumb injury and a couple other things that he was dealing with. He's a bit nicked up right now, not 100%, but he did confirm on the Pat McAfee show that he expects to play this week against the Bears. All right, that's what Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Packers, said as well. Now, as far as quarterback for the Bears, Justin Fields, he was limited in practice on Wednesday. And folks, I got to tell you, I don't feel great about Justin Fields' chances to play against the Packers on Sunday. Now, he certainly could, and he's going to be a lot healthier than he was last week when we did sit him out, which was the right decision. But the fact of the matter is, this game doesn't mean much, again, outside of beating the Packers, really. But in terms of the Bears' chances, it doesn't really mean much. And we've got a bye week coming up after this week, and that's more chance for Justin Fields to get some rest. So they might just hold him out this week. Again, dealing with that separated shoulder with torn ligaments. If you told me, Faiz, do you think Justin Fields plays? Put a gun to my head. I don't. I think they play it safe, so we're probably seeing Trevor Siemian here again. And so if that is the case, obviously advantage Green Bay Packers. As far as a couple of other injuries, Darnell Mooney's out for the season for the Bears. Eddie Jackson's out for the season for the Bears. Both got placed on IR. I mean, this team's decimated at this point. I mean, we're just trying to make it out of the season alive at this point. Like, it's bad. The Packers have some injuries of their own, but for the most part, they're still relatively healthier than, I would say, the Bears. And so when I take a look at this game, look, folks, for the Bears, it's very, very simple. The Packers' run D is awful. It's just terrible. And, I'd say this with Fields or Siemian, you just got to run the football. Run it with Monty. And if Fields is in, run it with Justin Fields, even though I want to make sure he's okay. He slides and he doesn't take hits. But you saw what Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders did last week against the Packers. 300 yards on the ground. I mean, Jalen Hurts had like over 100 yards in the first half. Like, it was ridiculous. So this Packers run D is bad. Take advantage of it. Run the football down their throats with Monty. And it's the best way to, kind of slow the game down, eat clock, and keep the ball out of the Packers' hands. So you want to run the football with Monty. He plays well against the Packers. Run it with Fields. And yeah, just pound it down their throat. And this Packers run D is terrible. That's really the offensive game plan that I'm looking at for the Bears, whether it's Trevor or Justin. All right. And as far as the defense, folks, I got to tell you, like the Packers, how I want to attack them defensively. You take a look at Aaron Rodgers. He's not 100%. He's a little banged up, and he's not looked like the same Aaron Rodgers this season. So you would think, hey, maybe I want to go ahead and let the Packers beat you by the run because Aaron Rodgers, you don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to do much in this game, right? And so because he hasn't been that great this season, but I still am scared of Aaron Rodgers. And so it's kind of pick your poison here with Aaron Jones in the run game with A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, and also Aaron Rodgers. So it's like, what would you rather happen? The Bears overall in the year is still a better pass defense than a run defense, 12th against the pass, 27th against the rush. But I got to tell you, folks, these numbers really starting not to mean much. Both the run defense and pass defense right now is going to be awful. We got lit up, torn apart by Mike White last week. Aaron Rodgers can do the same. He can do the same. So it's pick your poison at this point. Literally, what do you want to get beat by? The run or the pass? And for me, if you're giving me that choice, I'd rather get beat by the run. I'd rather have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon run all over us than Aaron Rodgers throw for 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, and just, get in the end zone and say, I own you. Like, I don't want to deal with all that, all right? Even though they're not going to the playoffs this year. So, again, if you're asking me to pick, I'd rather get beat by the run because this Bears defense, it's awful. It's awful. I'm sorry. It just is. The game plan really here is you want to try to, get to Aaron Rodgers. The pass rush isn't very good for the Bears, but you want to try to get to him. He's compromised. He's not 100%. But, look, this Bears defense isn't good, and the Packers will score on us. So, overall, don't see really us doing much there. But, yeah, run the football with Monty and Justin Fields if he's available. Try to slow the game down, and really, that's the game plan for the Chicago. All right, so my final score prediction is the following. If it is Trevor Siemian at quarterback for the Chicago Bears, they lose 31-13. That is my final score prediction. But if we do see Justin Fields back under center, I do believe the Bears keep it closer, but they still lose 31-24. So there you have it, people. My final score prediction for the Bears. Look, I have them losing either way, not because if Justin plays, they don't have a shot, but mainly because of the fact that this defense is awful, and they're not going to be able to stop anything. So it is what it is. I would love to beat the Packers, but I got to be objective. I got to tell you what I realistically think happens, and that is where I'm at. But I would love nothing more than to beat the Packers. And really, it's a win-win situation if you think about it. If we win, we beat the damn Packers and ruin their playoff chances. If we lose, another step closer to getting that number 2 seed. So I want to be fine with the outcome either way. What about you? Leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.